Leave it to Coach Prime to make news on a random Monday in March because this idea he has, I'm all for, and I think you would be too. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching the #1 college football show, welcome. Thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. And I think that this is a period that is usually associated with a lull as you're getting into pro days. You're winding up for the NFL draft. You're coming to find out what some teams think about some prospects and some players. But in years past, we'd also been talking a lot about what's going on in spring practice. And as certain press conferences are taking place at universities all across the country, my interest goes with those particular programs, right? Tennessee and Josh Heupel going out of his way to say, look, I want to play a spring game because I want our younger players to have that experience of playing in front of tens of thousands of fans. Tennessee's coming off of their first appearance in the college football playoff, and they're needing to reload, particularly at the tailback position with Deion Sanders going to the NFL draft, and they've got to get work done on that defensive line. Tim Banks was the Broyles Award finalist. Meanwhile, you've got other programs like Washington saying the same thing. We're going to continue to keep playing a spring game because we think it's really good exposure. Eli Drinkwitz, whose Missouri team is not playing a spring game due to some stadium renovation, same thing with Florida State, thinks it's a case-by-case basis, year-by-year basis. And while all this is going down, Ohio State is saying we're going to do something on spring game day, which is like a showcase of sorts. Oklahoma's going a step further, kind of turning it into a festival event, a fan appreciation with their Crimson Combine. But Colorado is going to play a spring game on national television. Their game is going to be broadcast on ESPN2. We'll get to see Caden Salter, I hope. We'll see who else pops out over there because that's usually what we're looking at in a spring game. Who plays well? Who looks like they are a front runner at some positions that have some battles going on? Are we going to see some great stuff out of Cam Michael? Are we going to see some great stuff out of Omarion Miller? Is Jordan Seaton going to show us anything at all that says, hey, I'm the next up-and-coming left tackle in this sport? And then we got the other overarching storyline, which is the first season in which Deion Sanders is not going to coach any of his boys ever. He's always coached those boys for damn near 20 years. This will be the first team that doesn't have any of those on there. So I'm going to be very curious about who he's adopted and who he's taken under his wing because those players tend to thrive. Travis Hunter fits the mold for that. I think Julian Lewis will fit the mold for that. I think Caden Salter will fit the mold for that. And on it goes. But he also had a really great idea at his presser earlier this morning. And that idea was to do something that we love to see done on Hard Knocks episodes. Play an intra-squad scrimmage during the spring period. I got to tell y'all, when I heard that, I lit up because he's right about this. He says, look, it's not just got to be a spring game for the spring game's sake, okay? Our players are already kind of upset about having to hit each other all the time, and it gets monotonous. You get to figure out what your teammate does really well or really poorly, and sometimes you get better, sometimes you don't. Most of the time, it's just going through the motions, making sure that the muscle memory stays intact, right? That you can get done what you need to get done when it's time to play for real come August. They've also got a really big game coming up against Georgia Tech that I think is going to shape their season. They throttle Georgia Tech. That's going to be a really great football team. They get throttled by Georgia Tech. It's going to be a really bad football team. It's also a rematch of the split national championship champions in 1991, which I think is, or 1990, which I think is really cool. Georgia Tech and Colorado both split a national championship. Who knew? You do now, right? But we're also talking about him trying to come up with a way to sell out Folsom Field during an April event. And you know what? This might be it. While Nebraska's Matt Rule is going to hide, I don't want nobody looking at our players that say that they're going to go put them into the portal and poach them, which has been his get down. That's frankly been the get down of many college football coaches who remain conservative with all this stuff. It's, hey, I, being Deion Sanders, I don't care that you know what I got. I know what I got. And you know what? Pretty sure I'm going to know what you got. It's really not going to matter that much. And if you can't keep your players, that's on you. Prime takes the opposite approach. There's nobody he's not willing to lose. And I think that is key. I think that is, of all things, what separates him. Guys that go into the portal, he says, is nothing we're going to miss. He's taken that effect all throughout his life. You either are with him or against him. There is no in between for him. You are either on his team or you are against him on the other team. He doesn't make necessarily any room for neutrals, right? Which is, I mean, frankly, myself, I am a neutral. I don't really get into it that way. I'm not going to be pulling for somebody just to pull for them. I am really interested in great storylines. I'm really interested in great plays. And I love telling stories. I love telling stories about people. And I got takes, man. I love giving takes. I love doing this show. There are some takes that I got about Colorado. Some of them have been right. They were going to beat Texas Christian. Some of them are going to be wrong. They were going to have a bad 2024 season. You know, actually, I don't know that I actually said that. I think I said something like, he's won everywhere he's gone, and then he had that 4-8 season, so maybe the tide has turned. Same difference if you are keeping score at home, because yes or no is the answer to the question. You know, I got that one wrong. But, hey, as soon as they started turning around, I'm going, oh, so Travis Hunter really is going to win the Heisman Trophy. And then I'm stumping for that dude to win the Heisman Trophy because he's doing something I've never seen. Going back to people and plays and spectacular storylines, nobody had done what Travis Hunter had ever done in the history of the sport. Nobody. He won the Biletnikoff Award and the Bednarik Award in the same damn year. Still making the Jim Thorpe Award look really stupid for not making him at least a finalist, let alone winning the damn award because he's the best defensive player in the sport. Wild to think about that. We have Travis Hunter on boards for cornerback and wide receiver. I think he's going to get drafted wide receiver because I don't know if y'all saw this or not, but 2019 LSU got 4 dudes that got paid. 3 wide receivers and a quarterback making $666 million guaranteed. Damn. Damn. Meanwhile, defense is going to look trash. They're going to look so bad because they got this thing called salary cap in the NFL. I don't know if y'all know that. But it really does say that you got to be very frugal about what you spend and what you spend it on. So as I'm continuing to go down this thought, I'm going, who would be bold enough to play against Colorado in an inter-squad scrimmage? Probably not anybody that you want to see. That's the thing. But still, I would like to see it because the first program is smart enough to go, I'm willing to risk injury to this. I'm willing to go do this like they do in the NFL. They're going to make some money because if you could, say, get a team that Colorado is not going to play in 2025 to come and play them right now, who would that be? Could you get Dabo Swinney and Clemson? Probably not, but it's worth trying. Florida State can't have a spring game. Maybe you invite them up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it starts to get real cool out here when you start looking at the schedule, start looking at these intra-conference teams that you could play that ain't got nothing to do with your schedule, non-conference or in-conference, maybe even stretching it over the next 3 years. If you don't see that program for the next 3 years, maybe you want to invite them down for a spring game. I think that stuff's phenomenal. I think that stuff is a lot of fun, and I would love to see somebody take Prime up on this because I think that everybody's got something to gain here. And he is taking advantage of when other people are scared. And by scared, I mean, it's not just that he is playing the spring game. It's that he's playing the spring game when Oklahoma, Texas, Nebraska, USC, Florida State are not. That means something. We're going to watch that game. We are. We're going to watch it on ESPN2. And ESPN had the smarts to go, let's put them on television. Let's see what happens just before they have 2 guys that we know are going to get drafted in the first round on our air as well. Like, this is very cool. I think the more I think about this, the more I'm going, inter-squad is the way to go if you can talk other programs and teams into it. In this age of name, image, and likeness where everybody's trying to hold what they got, I bet you know who would do this? Joey McGuire, Texas Tech. Come on down. Let's see what you got. It's breaking my rule, but come on down. Let's see what you got.